Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi returns after cutting short his Saudi Arabia visit, holds urgent security meeting at the Delhi airport with the National Security Advisor and Foreign Minister. India's Home Minister Amit Shah reaches the terror attack site in Pahalgam to take stock of the situation, pays last respects to the victims. Search operation to nab perpetrators of the Pahalgam attack continues. 2 terrorists neutralized in Baramullah as an infiltration bid is foiled. World joins India in condemning the Pahalgam terror attack, calls it a deeply disturbing news and a brutal crime. US President Donald Trump says he has no intention of firing US Fed chief, softens his stand on China tariffs, says tariffs will be nowhere near 145% as previously announced. So immediately upon his arrival in New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi convened an emergency meeting at the airport with the National Security Advisor G. Dubal, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri in view of the terror attack that claimed 26 lives in Kashmir's Pahalgam on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi cut short his state visit to Saudi Arabia and rushed back to India after news of more than 20 people being attacked by terrorists surfaced early on Tuesday. India's Home Minister Amit Shah reached the Baisaran Meadow, the terror attack site in Pahalgam. This is a recent development. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had told the Home Minister from Saudi Arabia itself to immediately take stock of the situation after the terror attack on Pahalgam on Tuesday. Union Home Minister Amit Shah earlier paid homage to the victims by laying a wreath at a poignant ceremony in Srinagar this morning. The Home Minister and Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha also met with the family members of Pahalgam terror victims. This tragedy has shaken not just Kashmir but the entire country. A terrorist attack took place on Tuesday where innocent tourists were killed, making it one of the biggest terror attacks on tourists in recent years. 26 people have been killed, several are reported injured. Earlier on Tuesday, the Union Home Minister chaired a high-level security meeting with all the agencies following the Pahalgam terror attack after he reached Srinagar. The Home Minister vowed that those involved in this dastardly act of terror will not be spared and the Indian government will come down heavily on the perpetrators with the harshest consequences. So at least 26 people were killed after gunmen opened fire on a group visiting Pahalgam, a popular tourist destination in South Kashmir on Tuesday. The attack took place in Baisaran Meadow, around 5 kilometers from Jammu and Kashmir's resort town of Pahalgam. Among the dead were tourists from several states, including Karnataka, Maharashtra, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. The Resistance Front, TRF, alias Lashkar-e-Taiba, the banned Pakistan-based terror group, claimed responsibility for the attack. Security across the Kashmir Valley has been increased manifold after the killing of several tourists in a Pahalgam terror attack. The joint combing operation by Army, CRPF and J&K police is underway in the region. Special forces, sniper dogs and other technical intelligence means have been deployed to track down the attackers. This incident has shaken the entire nation. The Pahalgam attack has been widely condemned by global leaders in one voice. It has been termed as a brutal attack, a heinous crime. And DD India correspondent Salman Qazi and Vishal Barrister join us from Srinagar on the story. Coming to you, Salman, first, what can you share, what more can you share with us on Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to Baisaran, the site of the terror attack in Pahalgam?
The Home Minister Amit Shah is currently in Baisaran, and he is Home Minister Amit Shah is in Baisaran Valley, where the attack has taken place, and he's trying to he has visited the place. Before this, he interacted with the family members of the injured people, of the people who were killed in this attack.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Salman. Vishal, this incident has shaken the entire country. Well, it is a barbaric crime. Again, Kashmir Valley has been witness to. Is the sentiment similar where you are at?
Well, absolutely. A very good afternoon to you, Tanvi. I'm here at Lal Chowk, which is the epicenter of Srinagar. We have seen protests going on since morning here. We have seen people coming out in groups, in large groups, with black flags and black bands on their arms. They are protesting this gruesome attack. They're saying this is not what Prophet Muhammad teachings tell us. This is against Islam. Islam does not teach this. So they are coming out and showing their anger because they're saying this is an attack on the spirit of Kashmir. I will ask my cameraman to show you. Now this is the Lal Chowk. There you see the clock tower, and there you see the protesters. They are holding banners in their hands. This is the epicenter of Srinagar. The place used to be bustling with crowd because this is the peak of tourist season. All the shops are closed. There is a complete strike down which is called Bandh here in protest against the killings. So there's a lot of anger here and people stand all united. We've spoken to some of the locals here. They are offering all kind of help. The auto walas, they are offering free ride to the tourists who want to go to the airport. The hotels, they are also offering rooms at a much lower budget. The tariffs they have lowered down, and they are all saying that this is an attack on humanity. So definitely the spirit of Kashmir, the spirit of a secular India will not be cowed down by this barbaric, inhuman and cowardly act. This is what the people of Kashmir want to tell the terrorists across the border, those who are working on behalf of the people across the border, those who are part of this attack by the Lashkar-e-Taiba group, and also those who want to see India disturbed. This is the spirit of Kashmir that tells the world that India stands united and all are one against any kind of terror attack, because this is an attack on humanity. There you see they are carrying "Stop Killing." This is Kashmir against terror. Kashmiri stands against terror. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
हाँ, ये गलत बात है, गलत बात हुई है। इन पे अटैक हुआ है, नया के लोगों पे अटैक हुआ है। ये हमारी सालमियत को खतरा है, ये हमारी इकोनॉमिक्स को खतरा है, इसलिए हम इसकी पुरजोर अल्फाज में मजम्मत करते हैं।
He is saying we mourn the innocent killing. Why do you mourn this attack?
ये इनका कत्ल नहीं है, ये टूरिस्टों का कहीं कत्ल नहीं है, ये हमारी कश्मीरियत का कत्ल है, पूरे कश्मीर जम्मू कश्मीर का कत्ल है। और हम दिल की गंभीर गहराइयों से इसका कंडम करते हैं, इसकी पुरजोर मजम्मत करते हैं। और ये जो अटैक है ये इंसानियत का कत्ल है, ये कश्मीरियत का कत्ल है। हम पुरजोर और आइंदा हम तवक्का रखते हैं कि ऐसे अटैक्स ना हो, पूरा इंतज़ाम होना चाहिए, जितने भी ये इनोसेंट किलिंग जो हो रही है ये बंद होनी चाहिए। हम इसकी मजम्मत करते हैं, आइंदा ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। हम इस दुख की घड़ी में जो हमारे भाई बहन वहाँ पे शहीद हुए हैं, हम उनके दुख के बराबर उनके साथ हैं। और आज आप देख रहे हैं कि हम सड़कों पे आए हैं, बिल्कुल साइलेंट प्रोटेस्ट इसलिए कर रहे हैं, हम उनके बिल्कुल साथ हैं। ये उनका दर्द नहीं है, हमारा अपने जैसे ये अपने खानदान के हमें शहीद हुए हैं, अब हम अपना दर्द इसे समझते हैं, ये हमारा कत्ल है।
So Tanvi, there you heard this man is saying this is an attack not on the tourists, but this is an attack on the economy of Kashmir. This is an attack on our own family members. We stand by them and we would make sure that next time it does not happen, so we would keep our vigil. Now these are the words coming out from the people, from the local businessmen, from the local shopkeepers, because they know that this attack will harm their economy. This attack will somehow turn away tourists from this place, because summertime is the time where they would earn their living. Summertime is the time there when they were expecting business to boom. There were a lot of tourists who are here. Some of them, they are still here, but slowly and slowly the word of unity is spreading across the Kashmir Valley, across Jammu and Kashmir, across the country and across the globe. Tanvi?
Okay, an attack against Kashmiriyat, which means against the spirit of Kashmir. Strong words there by a protester. We shall request you to stay with us. Salman, coming back to you, you were sharing details of Home Minister's visit to Baisar and the site of the attack in Pahalgam.
Yeah, Home Minister Amit Shah is right now at Baisar and Pahalgam, and he is taking stock of the security situation, and I'm sure that he'll be also be briefed on the operations that are being conducted to nab the perpetrators of the attack. Before this, he also interacted with the relatives of and the family members of the people who were killed in this attack, and he has assured them that all the actions will be taken to avenge this attack and basically bring those people who have attacked them and their planners to justice. Before this, he also has taken stock of the security situation in a high level meeting which was attended by the top security brass and LG of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, and the Chief Minister of J&K, Umar Abdullah.
Okay, Salman, this attack is much larger than anything we've seen directed at civilians in recent years in the Kashmir Valley. Did this attack follow a similar pattern, or was it a shift in strategy by the terrorists?
This is one of the biggest attacks on civilians since 2001 assembly house attack that happened. So this is one of the biggest attacks on civilians in Jammu and Kashmir, and definitely this is the first time that tourists have been targeted at such a mass scale, and so definitely the attack does represent a kind of an totally new paradigm in terms of the perpetrators, in terms of the scale, in terms of the victims. It is definitely this is something this was one of the segments that was not really attacked. There have been attacks against outsiders who have been workers. There have been attacks against the civilians, Kashmiri civilians. There have been attacks against the minorities. There have been attacks against the people who were thought to be close to security. There have been attacks against a lot of people, but this was one of the groups that was not attacked. So this attack at such a scale does represent a very chilling turn of the events.
Yeah. Vishal, I see a considerable amount of police force behind you at the Lal Chowk. If you could give us a sense of how the security operations and overall police presence is there in Srinagar.
How the police activity has increased here. There's complete vigil over here. The security has been tightened. Army, CRPF, BSF, and also the Jammu and Kashmir police. They are taking all care that there is no further damage. And also they are ensuring the safety and security of the tourists here, because there are still a lot of tourists here and they are waiting for their flight. Some of them, they have rescheduled their flights. Obviously, they are scared, and why not? Because this was quite unexpected, as DD India correspondent Salman Qazi was telling us. This is the first time that tourists have been attacked by Lashkar-e-Taiba in the name of TRF, and definitely it's quite a cowardly attack. And people from all walks of life, they are protesting because this is an attack on their daily bread, because tourism brings food, tourism brings money, tourism is the only thing that Kashmir can boast of right now, because this is the summer season and tourism is at its peak. This is the time where everybody was looking to earn money, and the attack on tourists is an attack on their own family members, as one of the protesters was saying. And why not? Because if it is affecting their livelihood, if it's affecting their daily bread, and if it's affecting their earning, then definitely it is an attack on their family as well. So Tanvi, the valley is in shock. The valley is protesting. The valley is all in remorse, and they are all saying that those were not victims. They are calling the tourists who got killed in the attack martyrs. They are calling them martyrs. So definitely quite a strong feeling here as far as the valley is concerned.
Okay, Salman, I beg your pardon, the resistance front has taken responsibility for this terror attack. Well, we have seen in reports that it's a shadow group of the LET. If you could give us a bit more background on the resistance front and the terrorist activities they have been carrying out in the recent past.
The TRF and some other affiliated, these groups were created after 2019, and because earlier the groups, for example LET or Jaish-e-Mohammed, they had been proscribed internationally. So there was a strategy that by renaming them, that they would be able to escape international scrutiny. These groups, TRF, as is understood by the security analysts and the journalists and the analysts here, that it's basically a renaming of LET, and the LET the TRF carries operations basically which can be directly said to be done by the LET, and this has been done to basically evade the international eye.
Okay, thank you very much, Salman and Vishal, for tracking the story for us. Well, it is a day of mourning indeed, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah at the forefront of this security operation. Of course, the forces also at the vigil, at the very best vigil in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much for joining us at the moment. So more news coming from Jammu and Kashmir. The front pages of Kashmir's leading newspapers went black on Wednesday, a stark visual protest against the brutal terrorist attack in Pahalgam. The coordinated editorial blackout served as a collective cry of anguish and a call for accountability after one of the deadliest attacks in the region in recent years. English and Urdu dailies, including Greater Kashmir, Rising Kashmir, Kashmir Uzma, Aftab, and Taimil Irshad, abandoned conventional design in favor of a somber black background with headlines and editorials printed in white and red. India's Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu has moved swiftly to ensure the safety and well-being of affected tourists and victims. As part of immediate relief measures, 4 special flights from Srinagar, 2 to Delhi and 2 to Mumbai have been arranged, with additional flights kept on standby to cater to further evacuation needs. The minister spoke to Home Minister and held an urgent meeting with airline operators and issued a strong advisory against surge pricing. He further spoke to Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister on the matter. He assured full support to facilitate the safe return of tourists and coordination with the state authorities. Further, 24/7 emergency help desk has been established at Andhra Pradesh Bhavan, New Delhi, for tourists requiring assistance for information. Tourists can contact V. Suresh Babu, the contact person, and the numbers are 9818 395787 and 011-2338-7089 for information and assistance on the Pahalgam terror incident. So in view of the prevailing situation, Air India and Indigo will operate a total of 4 additional flights from Srinagar to Delhi and Mumbai on Wednesday. The airlines are also offering complimentary rescheduling and full refunds on cancellations to passengers with confirmed bookings till April 30th on these destinations. Kashmir Valley observed a complete shutdown of the brutal killings of tourists in the Pahalgam meadows for the first time in 35 years on Wednesday. The locals have shut down shops in protest. DD India's Vishal Barrister earlier gave us a ground report.
I'm here at the Lal Chowk area of Srinagar. This area used to bustle with a lot of crowd, business and tourists. But because of the solidarity band, this is a quiet place. Now, as you can see, all the shops, they are closed here. There is no transaction, no business, no tourists to be found. But here there is something very interesting. Here it is airport free service. Now these people, they are giving free service to the airport. He is a shopkeeper, his business is suffering, and they are saying it's an attack on the Kashmirian. There is the clock tower, and it's quite a sad scene here because this is the epicenter of Srinagar. This is the place which signifies Srinagar. But today, because of the Bandh, there is a total different kind of picture here. People are very sad, they are angry. There is a kind of opposition, there is a kind of anger. And why not? Because this is the time when people of Kashmir, people of Srinagar, they would like to have a boom in their economy. This is the peak of tourist season. But sadly, what occurred in Pahalgam has an effect over all of the state. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Srinagar, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India.
The terror attack that swept through Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam on Tuesday has left behind grieving families in various cities across India. Now, there are some horrid accounts coming in, including from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Shubham Dwivedi, a newlywed who had gone to Kashmir with his wife for a short vacation, was among the civilians killed in the attack. Speaking to media, his cousin Saurabh Dwivedi alleged that the terrorists started firing after asking the names of the individuals and were shot in the head.
जो घटना में जिनको गोली लगी है वो शुभम द्विवेदी मेरे चचेरे भाई हैं। इस 17 तारीख को यहाँ से गए थे, करीबन 11 लोगों का एक ग्रुप था जो कश्मीर भ्रमण करने गए थे। तो वहाँ पर अलग अलग जगहें सोनमर्ग और गुलमर्ग वगैरह यहाँ से घूमने गए थे। आज ये पहलगाम में थे, तो वहाँ पर शुभम भैया उनकी अभी 12 फरवरी को ही शादी हुई है, तो वो और उनकी वाइफ घुड़सवारी करते हुए गए हुए थे ऊपर। वहाँ पर जानकारी हम लोग को ऐसे हुई कि भाभी ने फ़ोन किया नीचे ताऊ जी को कि शुभम भैया को गोली मार दी है सर पर। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि नाम पूछने के बाद गोलीबारी वहां पर शुरू करी है और सर पे गोली मारी गई है।
The attack has claimed the lives of several tourists, including Prashant Satpathy, an accounts officer from Odisha. Prashant was killed in the attack, leaving his family with no information about his wife and young son who were travelling with him. Speaking to reporters, his elder brother Sushant Satpathy recalled the moment when the family received the heart-wrenching news.
जो स्टोर में लिखा था, जो टोल फ्री नंबर जो लिखा था उस नंबर पर डाल गया। अभी तक वो बोले जे प्रशांत सब डेड हो गए। इतना ही। मेरा छोटा भाई ना, छोटा जो भाई का बीबी है वो भतीजा है, वो कहाँ पर है कैसे है मेरे को पता नहीं। फोन तो नहीं लग रहा है अभी। तो अभी एडिशनल डीएसपी फोन किए थे मेरे को।
Indian Navy condoled the demise of Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who fell to the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam. Taking to X, Indian Navy wrote, and I quote the handle here, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, CNS, and all personnel of the Indian Navy are shocked and deeply saddened by the tragic loss of Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, who fell to the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam. We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family during this moment of unimaginable grief. The Indian Navy also stands in solemn solidarity with all others that lost their lives in this heinous act of violence. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims' families, and we pray for the swift recovery of those injured." Unquote. So Vinay Narwal, Indian Navy lieutenant who was posted in Kochi, was killed in the Pahalgam terrorist attack while he was on leave. He's a native of Haryana and got married on 16th of April.
हमारे पड़ोस में ही है नरवाल जी। अभी शादी हुई थी इनकी, 4 दिन पहले रिसेप्शन थी। सारी गली में खुशी का माहौल था। ये जानकारी मिली कि आतंकवादियों ने उनको पूछ के गोली मार दी है।
The Pahalgam terror attack has shaken the entire nation. One of the survivors, 61-year-old Vinubai Dabhi from Bhavnagar, Gujarat, was injured in the attack. His daughter, Sheetalben Dabhi, has now shared a significant update regarding his health and the tragic incident.
मेरे माता पिता श्रीनगर घूमने के लिए गए, तो वहां से वो पहलगाम गए थे। तो पहलगाम वो घूम रहे थे मिनी स्विट्जरलैंड में, तो अचानक आतंकी हमला हुआ। तो इसमें मेरे फादर को हाथ में गोली लग गई, तो अभी वो हॉस्पिटलाइज है, लेकिन अभी तो उसको अच्छा है। उसका इंटरव्यू हमने देखा।
Still with Kashmir, Indian Army has foiled a major infiltration bid in Baramullah region earlier today. Heavy exchange of fire between security forces and terrorists was reported when terrorists tried to infiltrate through general area of Sarjivan at the Udi Nala. Alert troops eliminated two terrorists. Large quantity of weapons, ammunition and other warlike stores have been recovered from the terrorists. Indian Army said that the operation is still underway. World leaders strongly condemned the terror attack on tourists in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday and reiterated their unflinching support for India's fight against terrorism. US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Israel Foreign Minister were among the world leaders who condemned the terror attack. US President Donald Trump reiterated United States support for India in its fight against terrorism. Trump wrote on Truth Social, and I quote him here, "Deeply disturbing news out of Kashmir. The United States stands strong with India against terrorism. We pray for the souls of those lost and for the recovery of the injured. Prime Minister Modi and the incredible people of India have our full support and deepest sympathies. Our hearts are with you all." Thereafter, Trump spoke with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and expressed deepest condolences at the loss of innocent lives in the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. In a post on X, official spokesperson of India's Ministry of External Affairs, Randeep Jaiswal, wrote, and I quote him here, "President Donald Trump called Prime Minister Modi and conveyed his deepest condolences at the loss of innocent lives in the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir. President Trump strongly condemned the terror attack and expressed full support to India to bring to justice the perpetrators of this heinous attack. India and the United States stand together in the fight against terror." US Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance, who are on a 4-day visit to India, extended condolences to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack on Tuesday. In a post on X, the US Vice President wrote, "Usha and I extend our condolences to the victims of the devastating terrorist attack in Pahalgam, India. Over the past few days, we have been overcome with the beauty of this country and its people. Our thoughts and prayers are with them as they mourn this horrific attack." Further, the US State Department has condemned Tuesday's terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam. This was also stated on a post on X. It said, "The US strongly condemns the terrorist attack in Kashmir. Nothing can justify such a heinous act, killing tourists and civilians. Our thoughts are with those who have lost their loved ones. We continue to monitor the situation and call for perpetrators to be held accountable." In a letter to President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed condolences over the Pahalgam terror attack. He wrote, and I quote Putin, "Please accept the deepest condolences over the tragic consequences of the terrorist attack near the town of Pahalgam that claimed the lives of citizens of various countries. There can be no justification for this brutal crime. We expect that its sponsors and perpetrators will be duly punished. I would like to reiterate the readiness for further strengthening of cooperation with the Indian partners in the fight against all forms and manifestations of terrorism. Please convey words of sincere sympathy and support to the near and dear ones of the deceased, as well as wishes for a speedy recovery of all injured. Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov, expressed his condolences to the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack on Tuesday. The Russian ambassador wrote on X, "Deepest condolences to the people and the government of India over the heinous terror attack against tourists in Pahalgam. Russia resolutely stands with India." Further, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni too expressed condolences over the Pahalgam attack. In a message shared on social media platform X, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni conveyed her deep sorrow over the recent attack in Pahalgam. She expressed solidarity with the families of the victims, the injured and the Indian government, extending Italy's support to the people of India during this difficult time. Extending condolences to the victims of Pahalgam terror attack, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said, deeply saddened by the heinous terror attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, our thoughts are with the victims and their families. Israel stands united with India in the fight against terror. Now, during the meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jeddah, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman condemned the Pahalgam terror attack and offered any help to India in this regard.
The meeting began with the reference to the unfortunate terror attack that has happened in India. Both the leaders expressed their condemnation for the terror attack. His Royal Highness Crown Prince conveyed his condolences and sympathies and offered any help in this regard to us.
And in news just coming in, first sketches of the 3 terrorists of the Pahalgam terror attack have been released. Security agencies have released these sketches of 3 of the terrorists involved in Tuesday's heinous attack in Pahalgam. So these are the sketches of these 3 terrorists involved in the killing of 26 tourists in Pahalgam, and several of them are also injured. The tourists, the Resistance Front, TRF, a shadow group of LET, claimed responsibility for this attack. So security agency is releasing the sketches of these terrorists behind the attack in Kashmir's Pahalgam that left 26 tourists dead and several injured. Well, the names of these terrorists have also been identified. So it is said, as per sources and multiple reports, that these terrorists were clad in camouflage outfits, and they came in the Baisaran meadow from the dense pine forest surrounding the valley and opened fire on these tourists in Baisaran meadow. And let's go to Salman Qazi now. Now that the sketches have been released, Salman, could you share more details on these terrorists? They have been identified. So do we know that how many more are involved, and what more can you tell us about them?
This is still, the details are very fuzzy, but what we have got from the various security agencies that 4 to 5 terrorists were involved in this attack. Out of that, they have released the sketch. They're not, security agencies have not officially released. These have been shared by the various sources in the security agencies to very selective media, and they have released the sketch of three of the terrorists. There's also one which though has not been released by the security agencies. There's also one kind of a screen grab image one of the terrorists. He's walking. He's walking, and his back is shown in this. So these are the details that I said that I think this will not be the whole story will not be very. I mean, it will not be clear. It will be cleared very deliberately and step by step. There would be bits and pieces of information which security agencies will be getting, and then they will be they will be sharing that with the various media and the various other stakeholders, and then eventually the complete story can be rolled. But currently what we know is that security agencies have kind of sources have shared these 3 skets, and what we know is that TRF has taken responsibility for this. TRF is basically as a re-christening of the Lashkar-e-Toiba after 2019, and so that it could escape international scrutiny. We know that it has been done by the TRF, and they have admitted to it. So definitely these are the details that are getting, but whereas to the complete identity of the perpetrators, that's not known right now.
Okay. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is in Srinagar. He has held security review meetings with all agencies. He's visited the site of the attack in Pahalgam. He's met with the families of the victims. So what else measures are being taken by the government and the J&K police apparatus as of now?
Firstly, one of the first priorities was to ensure that the security of all the tourists who had come to the Jammu and Kashmir in this thing, that had to be ensured. The police has been trying to track down each one of the tourists and then trying to secure them at their places. So there have been some informal guidelines issued to the tourists, and then it was being ensured that none of the tourists should be kind of harmed in any way after this huge attack on them. Moreover, after that, state government has established three helplines for tourists to get information. These are also on WhatsApp. One of these helplines is from Srinagar, one is from Pahalgam, and one is from Gulmarg, the 3 most important destinations for tourists. Moreover, the airlines who operate out of the Srinagar have provided for additional flights out of the Kashmir, so that some of the tourists who want to reschedule their flights earlier, and so that they can take advantage of these flights and then travel back safely to their home.
Finally, before I let you go, Salman, this brutal incident will definitely affect tourism sector from here onwards for the valley. Would it also be affecting in any way the Amarnath Yatra scheduled in the months ahead?
I think definitely there would be an impact on the tourism sector of the economy. And there would be an impact on the Amarnath Yatra, but obviously the government has a lot of time until then, and definitely the impact would be much more on the kind of the preparations that the government will have to undertake. I'm sure that the government will have to ensure a much more robust security infrastructure to secure the Yatra, and because so I'm sure that there's a very clear-cut task for the government to basically ensure that the Yatra takes place in absolutely secure environment. So definitely there would be impact both on the tourism, but tourism in the sense that there would be very substantial decrease in the number of the tourists that would be visiting Jammu and Kashmir and in the Amarnath Yatra. But in the Amarnath Yatra, most of that would be also kind of the impact would be on the kind of the security arrangements and the logistics that the Government of India and the J&K government would have to undertake to ensure that the Yatra takes place in a secure environment.
Yes, one would like to believe that the Amarnath Yatra isn't affected in the days ahead. Thank you very much, Salman Qazi. It's still a developing story. We'll keep coming back to you as and when the news comes. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for a short break. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay with us.
We are diving into a transformation story unlike any other. India's ambitious rise as self-reliant global military power. And it's not just ambition, it's action. From warships to weapons systems, startups to strategic doctrines, India is rebuilding its defense architecture. And how it is doing so, to know that, tune into Defense Dynamics on DD India on Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST.
I am Gujarat. I embody our nation's history.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. On to other international news of the day. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday backed off from threats to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell after days of intensifying criticisms of the central bank chief for not cutting interest rates. Trump's recent outbursts against Fed Chair Jerome Powell had fanned concern that he would oust him, sending jitters through markets. The US president had criticized Powell for warning that the White House's sweeping tariffs policy would likely reignite inflation.
I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. She could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
US President Donald Trump said that high tariffs on goods from China will come down substantially, but it won't be zero. Trump, during a White House news conference, expressed optimism that he would make progress with China that would substantially lower tariffs on their imports, but also warned that if they don't make a deal, we will set the deal court. Trump's remarks were in response to earlier comments on Tuesday by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who said that the high tariffs were unsustainable and that he expects a de-escalation in the trade war between the world's two largest economies. Despite his high tariffs, Trump said that he would be very nice to China and not play hardball with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The president's comments indicate a more conciliatory approach to the trade war with China. Washington has imposed tariffs of 145% on products from China, but Trump acknowledged that the US levies were at a very high level and that this will come down substantially.
145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It got up to that. We were talking about fentanyl, where various elements built it up to 145. No, it won't be anywhere near that high. It used to be zero. We were just destroyed. China was taking us for a ride, and just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be very good to China, have a great relationship with President Xi, but they would make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year, and they would build their military out of the United States and what they made, so that won't happen.
Two US judges on Tuesday extended temporary blocks on some deportations of Venezuelan migrants and signaled that President Donald Trump's invocation of a 1798 law may not survive judicial review. US District Judge wrote in a ruling that Trump's administration must give Venezuelan migrants detained in Colorado notice of 21 days in advance before any deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, and must inform them of their right to challenge their removal. And a judge in Manhattan appeared inclined to require the administration to notify Venezuelans at least 10 days in advance before deporting them under the 18th century law. The Alien Enemies Act authorizes the president to deport, detain or place restrictions on individuals whose primary allegiance is to a foreign power and who might pose a national security risk in wartime. Now, the White House brushed off criticism levied by dozens of US universities and colleges that accused the Trump administration of political interference in American academia. More than 200 university and college presidents in a joint statement accused US President Donald Trump's administration of political interference in higher education, banding together after Harvard University said that the government was threatening its independence. The move comes a day after Harvard University sued the Trump administration, which has threatened to cut funding and impose outside political supervision. The letter said that the schools were committed to serving as centers where, quote, faculty, students and staff are free to exchange ideas and opinions without fear of retribution, censorship or deportation. Trump has sought to bring several prestigious universities to heel over claims that they tolerated campus anti-Semitism, threatening their budgets, tax-exempt status and the enrollment of foreign students. US President Donald Trump will be on a tri-nation visit to the Middle East. Trump will travel to Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the United Arab Emirates from May 13th to May 16th, as confirmed by the spokeswoman Caroline Levitt on Tuesday. This will be his second foreign trip since assuming office this year on January 20th. The trip will be followed by Trump's planned arrival at the Vatican for the funeral of Pope Francis on Saturday. The trip aims to bolster ties with Middle Eastern nations, with Saudi Arabia being the country in focus as it was the first destination of his previous presidency back in 2017. Notably, the visit comes at a time when the US is engaged in nuclear talks with Iran and is in key discussions with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on trade and regional stability. Tesla CEO Elon Musk began his company's earnings call on Tuesday by saying that his time spent running President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency will drop significantly starting May. Musk said he will cut back his role in the Trump administration as the company's latest profits and revenues showed a plunge during the beginning of the year. Musk's comment came after his company reported disappointing first quarter results, including a 20% year-on-year slump in automotive revenue and 71% plunge in net income. In addition to the challenges the company already faced, such as competition out of China and an aging fleet of electric vehicles, Tesla has recently been hit with protests in the United States and Europe and brand damage due to Musk's ties to Trump and his support of Germany's far-right AfD, Alternative for Germany party. Further, a federal judge on Tuesday ordered President Donald Trump's administration to restore funding to the Voice of America and other US-funded media. The federal judge in Washington agreed to a request led by the outlet's employees for a preliminary injunction, a temporary order as the court examines the legal challenge in greater depth. The US District Judge Royce Lamberth also ordered the administration to halt its effort to shut down two other federally funded outlets, Radio Free Asia and the Middle East Broadcasting Networks. US Agency for Global Media placed over 1,000 employees on leave and told 600 contractors that they would be terminated after the agency abruptly shut down the broadcasts in March. The White House has accused the broadcaster of being anti-Trump and radical in approach. Now, a new round of talks involving the United States, Ukraine and European nations are taking place in Britain on Wednesday. The London meeting comes as the US media reports that President Donald Trump is ready to accept recognition of Crimea as Russian territory. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy will lead Wednesday's discussions, which will be at a lower level than Paris. It will be attended by US-Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg and Emmanuel Bon, diplomatic advisor to French President Emmanuel Macron. Ukraine will be represented by Zelensky's Chief of Staff Andrei Yermak, Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiga and Defense Minister Rustem Umerov. Last Thursday, US, French and British foreign ministers along with a senior German official met in Paris to discuss the events. US presidential envoy Steve Witkoff is to visit Moscow this week in what would be his fourth trip to Russia since Donald Trump took office. On the ground, Russia resumed airstrikes this week following a brief Easter truce, and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Tuesday that his country was ready for direct talks with Russia after a ceasefire. The Kremlin has warned that it cannot rush into a ceasefire deal. Now, a deep sense of loss lingers over St. Peter's Basilica as the Vatican prepares for Pope Francis' funeral on April 26th. His body, now at Casa Santa Marta, will be moved to the Basilica for public display from today until April 25th, allowing thousands of faithfuls to pay their last respects to the Pope. Thousands are expected to visit to pay homage to the late Pope before the final prayer will mark the closure of the coffin. The prayer would be led by Cardinal G. Battista before the funeral mass, marking the initiation of a 9-day mourning period. The ceremony will be carried out in traditional Vatican style for the beloved Pope, marking the end of an era. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sporting action. Updates from cricket first. Pat Cummins-led Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on Hardik Pandya's Mumbai Indians in the 41st match of the Indian Premier League on Wednesday evening. With only 2 wins in 7 outings, Pat Cummins' side are placed at the 9th position on points table and of course are under immense pressure to turn things around. Their campaign has been riddled with inconsistency, especially in the batting department, which is flattered to deceive. The bowling unit has also lacked bit and the combination of both has left Hyderabad languishing in the bottom half of the table. On the other hand, the Mumbai Indians arrive in Hyderabad riding high on momentum. After a shaky start to the season, the 5-time champions have bounced back emphatically with 3 consecutive wins, the latest being a dominant 9-wicket victory over Chennai Super Kings. Meanwhile, KL Rahul smashed a half-century and guided Delhi Capitals to an 8-wicket victory over his former franchise Lucknow Super Giants in their IPL clash on Tuesday night. Delhi's foundation for victory was established by opener Abhishek Purell alongside his excellent batting performance. Akshar Patel also played a crucial knock with the bat. Meanwhile, captain Rishabh Pant proved yet again to be disappointing by losing his wicket without scoring a run during the match. Pant came out to bat at number 7 as Lucknow managed a total of only 159. Only Aiden Makram stood up for Lucknow, slamming a 50 and taking 2 wickets. The win has strengthened Delhi's position to qualify for the playoffs because of their improved chances. And in football, Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti has revealed that striker Kylian Mbappe will return from injury to face rivals Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final on Saturday. Real Madrid boss said that both Mbappe and left-back Furlan are training hard to be fit for the crucial game. Mbappe missed Madrid's La Liga match against Athletic Bilbao on Sunday and will not be available for the game against Getafe on Wednesday. The French superstar was substituted with an ankle problem during Madrid's Champions League loss to Arsenal last week. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.
We are diving into a transformation story unlike any other. India's ambitious rise as self-reliant global military power. And it's not just ambition, it's action. From warships to weapons systems, startups to strategic doctrines, India is rebuilding its defense architecture. And how it is doing so, to know that, tune into Defense Dynamics on DD India on Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST.
I am Gujarat. I embody our nation's history. I represent the heroes of our country. I am Gujarat. I am art. I am culture. I am the present. I am the future. I am Gujarat. I walk with changing times. I build with the creators of tomorrow. I am the growth emblem of the nation. I am home to India's glory. I am the abode of unending cultural stories. I am Gujarat. I have sown the seeds of development. I have planned the map of progress. I am Gujarat. I am the farmer. I am the industrialist. I am Gujarat. I represent the new India. I take pride in my Bharat. I am Gujarat. I represent the essence of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I am Gujarat.
Tamil Nadu is breathtaking, enchanting, divine, come, revel in the spirit of Tamil Nadu. The Thalaiva of States welcomes you to an experience larger than life.
I'm on a quest to explore the history of Goa. A land steeped in diverse and intersecting cultures and traditions.
I think this is one of my favorite pieces of art in the city.
Here, influences from multiple faiths coalesce in beautiful ways. From religious sites to charming villages and vibrant streets. Watch postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs urgent high-level security meet at Delhi Airport. NSA Dawal, EAM Jai Shankar and Foreign Secretary Misri present. Union Home Minister Amit Shah pays tribute to the victims in Srinagar, reaches terror attack site in Pahalgam to take stock of the situation. Kashmir erupts in anger and anguish. The valley observes first complete shutdown in 35 years. Sketches of suspected terrorist wielding gun surfaces. Security forces step up hunt. World joins India in condemning Pahalgam terror attack, calls it a deeply disturbing news and a brutal crime.